The Gen Y is a big pain issue right now. It's nothing that anybody did. No one is right, no one is wrong. It's a cultural difference. And it is really important to remember that, because it's so easy to point your finger and say, they did it. I can't work with these people. And I always remind people the Dire Straits song, I'm an 80s girl, when you point one finger, you have three pointing back at you. It's about we. It's not about me and you. It's about we. So when you kind of take it in that context, it's important to remember a couple things. One is there are 4 generations at work right now. We hear about boomers and Ys the most, but there's actually 4 generations. There's the traditionalists, not too many of them left. There's the boomers. Boomers were born between 46 and 64. There's the Gen Xers. Xers were born between 64 and 80. Ys were born between 80 and 2000. About 20 years for each generation. And again, if you think of it as different cultures, it's hard to think. We're all Americans. They are different cultures. You have to think about what shaped each of those generations. What shaped the boomers? Vietnam, Kennedy, Cuba, the beginning of contraception, the beginning of women's rights. So what do boomers value? Boomers value civic-mindedness. They value loyalty because of what they saw with their parents with the Depression. They actually value big ideas. They saw the man land on the moon. They're big thinkers. You get down to Xers. What did Xers see growing up? Xers saw the first Iraq War. Xers saw the beginning of MTV. Xers saw the first computer. Xers saw divorce for the first time really coming in. They saw their moms working for the first time. They saw their parents killing themselves, working 80 hours a week, and giving them everything they wanted. What happened to Ys? What did Ys see? Ys saw 9/11. They saw the Columbine murders. They were the first generation that had to have seatbelt laws. They're the first generation that had to have helmets when they were riding bicycles. So what do they value? They value connection because of 9/11 and Columbine. They value family and community. They value, to a certain degree, regulations, as well as they value loyalty to a brand if they feel like it's getting back to them. I just read a study last night. Something like, by the time they're 18, Gen Ys have seen 500,000 different ads. They are so immune to advertising. Again, all the more reason that you have to sub-niche and sub-niche your target market. I read another report last night that said Gen Ys have the maturity level at 10, not necessarily emotional maturity, but the global maturity level that boomers had when they were 17. Okay? It's a whole different culture. So what happens all the time, I get these calls all the time, tell these guys to stop texting me 10 times. Tell them to stop leaving for yoga at 4. Okay? Tell them that they have to work hard and get this job done. Okay? I'm not going to tell anybody to do anything. It is their job to turn it into we. So what I do is I say, look guys, you as a boomer value relationships. You value big pictures. You value loyalty. You as Ys value connection. You value relationships. You value making a difference in the world. You actually are more similar than you think. X's are very different. Ys and boomers are very similar. It's their strategies and their methodologies that are different. And so getting them to understand that, oh, well, no wonder you think that's the way you're supposed to talk because you grew up with reality TV. No wonder you think that's the way you should talk. Or no wonder that's the way you're like that. You saw the Vietnam War going on. Just that awareness changes people. Then you start teaching them how to talk with each other, how to open the questions, and then you have to start negotiating. Business is about negotiations and deals at the end of the day. Okay? You're never going to stop texting, but can you please stop texting me 10 times a day? You're never going to stop doing online or multitasking. However, let's focus on priorities and getting the job done. And it works together so that everybody understands each other. It's very simplistic, but that's a lot of the work that I'm doing in right now. It's a lot of understanding, and then I do a lot of role-playing. Because people just have to get the words out of their mouth. They can hear it in their head, they can't get it out of their mouth. I set it up and I say, okay, you're a salesperson. You're a Y salesperson, you're selling to a boomer CEO. What are the words that you're going to use? What are the physical postures you're going to use? And how are you going to communicate And they practice, pause, you just used a word that a boomer doesn't know. Try again. Then you do it the same, and you just get people in the same room talking, boomers to X, Y to X. And it's not rocket science, but they come out of it like, oh my God, my life has changed. And that's the beauty of it. It's just talking to different cultures.